Well, hello, friends, and welcome to our happy place. This YouTube channel, it's all about things positive, things encouraging, things to uplift you, and all based on the Word of God. And so I would like to invite you to our community. And it comes out every Monday, which we term these episodes Motivational Monday. So come on in. Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to our happy place for another episode of Motivational Monday. I want you to sit down, relax. We're going to dig a little deep today, but I think it's well needed in this society. And so, as you can see, we have a special guest today. Mariana, my beautiful daughter, is here with us. And what we're going to be talking about, a promise, life after a miscarriage or miscarriages. So this is not my story to tell, although I do have a point of view in this story because those were my grandbabies that she was carrying. So I'm going to turn it over to Mariana first and just talk about your experiences and how you felt, and be as real and as raw as you want to be, because I'm sure your story can impact someone else.
So first and foremost, I do want to say I've never really talked about this before. So if I cry, we're just gonna cut it out.
No, we're not. It's good to know that.
So last year I lost two babies. So you can say I had two miscarriages. The first child was a little bit after my wedding. I don't want to get the months wrong. I try to just push all of it at the back of my head. I think it was November I was pregnant, and I remember I was working, and I was eating a sausage biscuit. This is my first pregnancy, by the way. I was eating a sausage biscuit, and the egg. I love eggs. Eggs are my best friend. And for some reason, the eggs wasn't sitting well with me. And I remember running out of the kitchen to go to the bathroom at work. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't vomit after I eat. I think I called you after that. Well, I remember my friends was like, you're vomiting at work? I said, yeah, that's kind of weird, huh? And I was like, oh, you pregnant? I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like, everybody was saying I was pregnant. But I just knew I wasn't. But my body was telling me yes, but I was in denial. So I called my mom because I went home. It was kind of scary for me. And I told you I was, wait, what? How did it happen again?
You told me you were throwing up. And I said, well, you probably need to take a pregnancy test,
And she was like, well, I'll buy your first pregnancy test. And we went to, did we go to Walgreens?
Walgreens, yeah.
We went to Walgreens. And we came back over here to our home. I took it. And I remember having a oh my god moment of freaking pregnant. And did I scream in the bathroom? I did scream. I did and I was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. But in that moment, it didn't feel right to me. Like, I wasn't, like, most people are happy when they're pregnant, but for some reason my heart was like, like, I already felt like I was gonna lose the baby for some reason. Like, I don't know if it was a God thing or it's just me. I just felt like this baby wasn't going to live. And I didn't let myself get excited because of that.
And this is the second pregnancy you're talking about here, because that's the pregnancy.
Is it second?
Yes.
Oh.
And that's why she wasn't excited, because she had already lost the baby. And that first one, I didn't really know nothing about it. So it was
the first one was kind of like,
because that was on the cruise.
It was, it just happened. Like, I wasn't expecting it. And I remember, but it happened at work. I lost the baby at work too. And I felt alone in that moment. I didn't know what was happening, but I just know when you're losing a baby. And I was like, oh my god, I'm losing a baby. I remember I had to drag myself to the hospital because of it. It was a scary moment for me at the first one. I couldn't really get excited about it because I didn't know. I didn't have no symptoms the first baby. So it was just I wasn't connecting With this one, I don't want to say connecting with the baby or like, you know, but I just wasn't like worried about it. But the second baby, back to where we started
The
off.
story that she was just telling.
Yeah.
I remember I was super excited. I was like, I'm going to buy the pregnancy test. And that's when we went to Walgreens. And when I heard her screaming, I knew it. And I was overjoyed. And I know people say don't let anybody know until you get out of the first trimester. But I was super excited because I knew I was going to be a Glammy. And I just knew it was my little girl she was having. And I was like, let me go buy things. And I started buying things and just overjoyed.
I remember sitting on her couch and like I could see her getting excited, but I was like, I don't know if you even noticed that, but like I was just sitting there just like this, and I'm like, it just don't feel right.
Yeah. And
then we started calling people, like people that's close to me, telling them things like that I was pregnant, but for some reason it wasn't a vibe for me at that moment.
I think she was only happy because I was happy, because she was thinking in her mind, because she told me later, it feels like I'm going to lose this one as well. And I would always tell her, quit saying that. Your mouth, your words have power. Don't say that. We're going to see the baby. And then fast forward to that dreadful day.
Yeah, it's kind of TMI, but like I remember it was late at night.
You don't have to tell all the details.
Okay, but I was just remember being in the bathroom, like I was just waiting for it to happen. Like I was prepared. I think I was even on Marco Polo talking to my family, and they saw me emotional in the video. I knew it was happening, but y'all didn't.
And I had turned my phone off for some reason. I never have my phone on vibrate except at work. And she was trying to call me, and I, of course, wasn't there, wasn't receiving it. And so she started calling my sisters and like, somebody get in touch with my mom. I think I'm losing the baby. And they were like, my sister's like, who know Isaac's number? Isaac is my husband. And so when that phone rung, I knew it.
So you already kind of knew, like...
I knew it. I just immediately threw some clothes on, rushed to her house, and she was a mess.
I was a mess. I remember saying to my husband, like, I'm not doing this again. Like, just clock me out. I don't know. It's just something about losing a child that takes a part of your heart, and experiencing it twice. It takes like your entire heart. You know, like. Oh man.
It's okay.
I don't know, like. I just remember blaming myself because I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, the first baby, we was on the cruise and I was like in the hot tub, and you know you're not supposed to be in the hot tub pregnant, but I didn't know that. So I was like, okay, the first baby, I did it to myself. I was in the hot tub, so like even today I'm like, I lost the baby because I was in the hot tub and I was eating tartar, which is raw fish. And then the second baby, I'm like, okay, like, why did I lose this baby? Like, I need answers. I'm the type of person, like, I need answers. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? And I remember just blaming myself, like, this is my fault. Maybe I'm not meant to be a mom. Maybe it's just not for me. It was hard because I kept saying to Uriah, I was like, I'm not doing this again. Like, just forget about it. I I didn't want to feel that pain again. And we went to the hospital and they said, of course you had a miscarriages. But I remember the nurse was like, maybe you had twins. And I remember that triggered me so bad. I didn't let nobody know, but I'm like, I know I don't have twins. Just tell me I had a miscarriage. But she didn't. She wanted to leave me hope. And in that moment, I didn't want no hope. Excuse me for saying this, but I didn't want to hear about God or nothing. I was just like, just don't talk to me. Just let me be in this phase. Like, let me grieve this baby. And then I also realized that I was also grieving my first baby because I really didn't understand what was happening, but I felt like I was grieving two babies at once. I remember I got home around 1, 2 o'clock at night. At that point, I had shut everybody off. I got in my car, and I just knew like that was it for me. Like I didn't want to be on earth. And I'm sorry for even saying that, but like when you lose a child, it just like you feel like you're not living anymore. I remember driving in my car, just just going somewhere, and I couldn't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, I pulled in a church parking lot and I just prayed. And the weird thing is, my car light came on, my gas light came on, my tank was full, by the way, and it just came on. So like I really couldn't. It was like God was like not letting me go where I wanted to go. It's just like stopped me at the church building, you know. So I got home. My husband just held me and said, "We're going to get through this." And he was saying that, but I still wasn't accepting it because I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I don't want to be a mom. It's not meant for me. Yeah.
So, for me on that end, when I drove her to the hospital, and all the while I was like, Lord, don't let this be. Lord, don't let this be. And when they told me, well, she showed me the picture, and I was like, oh God, how am I going to help my child get through yet another miscarriage? And I didn't know what it felt like. I've never experienced that. What do I tell her? What do I say? And for me, the first baby, it wasn't really heartbreaking. And I know that may sound so cruel, but it wasn't, because I didn't really know, and she lost it very early on. Mm-hmm. But for that baby, I knew. I bought the pregnancy test. I was telling everyone.
Buying gifts.
I was buying gifts. I mean, it was just, I knew that we were going to have this baby. So when she had that miscarriage, and I was supposed to go to work because that was a Sunday. I was supposed to go to work that was a Thursday because I was supposed to go to work the Friday. And I called my boss. I said, I cannot come in today. My daughter had a miscarriage. I just need to be alone. And I remember I was so mad at the Lord. I was like, how could you do this to us? I wanted this baby. How could you set us up and just, I mean, it was so ugly, and just because I was so hurt. And I just couldn't believe that he allowed yet another miscarriage. I was like, Lord, what are we doing? What is going on? Why is my child losing yet another child? Like, how am I supposed to comfort her? And I was angry. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to talk to God. I just was like, just leave me alone. And I'll never forget this. The Lord used Sister Erika Williams. And if you're watching this, thank you so very much for giving your testimony, because it was your testimony that got us through this. Mm-hmm. And she basically had the same story as Mariana. And she was saying how she was angry for the second baby. And the Lord was telling her that he was going to use the pregnancy that she had Scarlett with for a testimony, for a witness. And little did she know that it was for us. And I remember when she stood up, I just broke down crying. And I called my daughter and I said, you have got to watch service today because this is for you. And she went on to say, I don't even know why I'm giving this testimony, but I know my baby is here for someone else. And Scarlett was still growing inside of her. And Sister Erika Williams, thank you so very much for following God and listening to his voice, because it helped to encourage us, to let us know that it was okay to be upset. It was okay to be human in that point and to question, but just to know that there is hope. Just like she said, her gas light came on and she drove in a church parking lot. That was a testament to say that there is hope, Mariana. Even in the midst of this storm, there is hope. There is life after this, and she can continue.
So just so you guys know the timeline of everything, the cruise, I remember December. I was sleeping a lot, so it was December. I was pregnant, didn't know. Then the second baby happened. I think that was like January, February. In the end of February, I remember I took my mama's gift that she bought. I'm going to just say my little girl, because we all knew it was my little girl. I took the dress she bought. Was it a dress? And I waited till my husband went to work, because I didn't want to pray that prayer while he was there. I just wanted a moment with me and God, so I could just like fuss at Him, like tell Him like why. I did fuss. I they say go bold before the Lord, and I went boldly. First time ever. I don't believe in that because I'm like a meek. I remember saying like, why would you do this to me? Like I was committed my whole life to you, and you took something very precious from me. And I remember my tears were just falling on the outfit for the baby, and I was like, if it's your will for me to have a baby, let it happen. I don't want to wait weeks. I don't want to wait months. I don't want to wait years. I want a baby now. And then March happened, and I was pregnant. I think that was like the next week. I was pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh, should I get excited about it? But when I was looking at that pregnancy test, I felt peace. Like I knew this baby was going to happen. Like it was just, I just felt this baby was going to happen. I called my mom, the first person, and I was like, I'm pregnant. And I don't remember your reaction, but
I was overjoyed, and I immediately went into prayer. Lord, please, please let this baby, let us hold this baby in our arms, and let us love him, Lord. I promise you, we're going to give him back to you. We're going to dedicate his life to you. We're going to teach him your ways, Lord. Please don't let her go through this again.
And a lot of people like called him a rainbow baby. I was like, no, it's not my rainbow baby. It's my miracle baby. Like, that's me and Jesus. What me and God talked about. I was like, this is gonna be a miracle baby, and he's gonna be a vessel for you. Like, he's not gonna be mine. He's gonna be yours. And I promised, like, I would just dedicate this child to him because, like, I wanted to be a mother, and I feel like that's my vow to Christ. Just. It's my gift, but it's really his. So I went to tell my husband. He was happy. We picked out the name that day, actually, because I just knew it was going to be a little boy.
And I just knew it was going to be a little girl. I was wrong.
But I remember looking at that pregnancy test. I was just overjoyed. It wasn't an easy pregnancy, by the way. Like, part of me felt like I was going to lose the baby because it was a lot.
Every time there was any type of symptom, she was calling the doctor. I mean, because now looking back, because hindsight is 2020, I can understand why she was so nervous after losing two. It's like, oh my God, here we go again. Whereas I was on the other end, like, it's going to be okay.
And when you hear, it's not, no offense, but like, you don't want to hear it's going to be okay. Like, anything that happens, like, you can, like, have a cough and you're like, oh my God, I'm about to lose the baby. Like, you have PTSD. I remember, like, every day in the bathroom, I was staying there for hours just waiting for it to happen. I would double check just to make sure what happened. I would, like, you just get this PTSD from, like, the previous pregnancy, and you're just waiting for it to happen.
Matter of fact, she had a scare. Because I was at work and my phone rung, and she doesn't call me at work. None of my family do because they know. So when I get a call at work, I know something. And it was one of her supervisors saying, Mariana is cramping, come now. And I mean, I told my coworkers to take the kids. I'm gone. I don't know what's going on with my daughter, but I got to go. And I remember praying all the way there, Lord, please don't let this happen again, please. So when I got there, they put in the car, and I had on sunglasses. She immediately picked up my sunglasses to see if I was crying. She said, because if you okay, I'm going to be okay. So I had to suck it up, and we sitting in the waiting room, and for hours, and I'm just, Lord, please, praying, but not letting her know. And we go to the back for them to check her. And I was so mad at this nurse. Oh my gosh. I wanted to nail her to the cross. I
still remember what she said.
That was just so rude. And any nurses out there, please have some bedside manners. Because she had asked Mariana how many babies she lost. And she told her second, that was her third. And she tells her, well, maybe you should just wait a while before you try again. That maybe this baby it's not there. And she just broke out. And I said, the devil is a liar. He all right. I was so mad at that lady. I'm telling you, I was going to be Peter, ready to cut somebody's ear off. Don't play with my family.
And speaking on that, I just feel like awareness, because I know moms who experience miscarriages, or maybe it's just me. You don't want to say, "Oh, you're gonna have a baby soon," or "Well, he's in heaven now," or what's the other one? It's okay. You're gonna be all right. Because how you can tell somebody they're gonna be okay when they're still grieving?
Yeah.
You know, just say, "I'm praying for you."
That's the only logical.
Don't like your baby's in heaven, like that. Every time I would hear that, I would just cry, like, because I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Just say, "I'm praying for you." You know?
And I get it that we don't know what to say. So because we haven't experienced it, the best thing is you're in my prayers. Yeah. That's the best thing. So after that, we stayed in the waiting room forever. And her husband eventually came, and so finally there was another nurse come, but she was a tech. So she was like, you got to drink a lot of water and for us to do the ultrasound.
And I remember going back there, I'm like, I lost the baby. I knew it.
That's the miracle crying right now. I'm going to go get him. Go ahead.
So I remember like sitting on the table, she was like, "Oh, we can't find no heartbeat, like there's no sac and stuff," and I'm like, okay, I lost the baby. And just in that moment, I just like, okay, just prepare yourself, be strong. But then she's like, well, we're going to check another way because you're still early on. So we had to do a vaginal ultrasound, and this when we heard his heartbeat. And I just broke down in tears, and she was like, is this the first time you heard your baby's heartbeat? And I was like, yeah.
Just a miracle.
So after that, I went ahead and tell my mom, like, the baby's all right, like, we're good. I was just experiencing some cramps. Again, I never experienced that before my first and second pregnancy. So it was all different. Like, I was feeling all the symptoms. Not to make this long story short, this pregnancy was the hardest. But I remember telling God on my prayer, I was like, I don't care what I have to go through, just give me my baby. Let me just tell you, when you tell God something, like, be smart about it. Because I went through hyperemesis gravidum. I had to stay out of work for literally 9 months. I went through high blood pressure. I was on bed rest. Preeclampsia, and then I lost my vision. And then we had a C-section because my body was just not doing what it was supposed to do. So I literally thought, like, I was going to lose the baby, but I just had to hold on to God's promise. And then everybody else was, I'm not going to say everybody else, but like people, my spiritual leaders, who was like, he's going to be okay, you're going to be okay. So I remember just stand on God's promise. He's not going to get you this far just to take the baby away, because I really couldn't handle that. Like, I was growing a life in my body for 9 months, and I just to have that taken away from me, I wouldn't be okay. But he's okay. He's here now.
He's a big boy. Let's Glammy's tater tot.
Yes, and he has, like, having him fill those 2 gaps and more from the first and second baby. Like, everything that I lost, I feel like I gained with him. So, like I always say, people's like, how you doing? You okay? How mom's life? And I'm like, I'm tired, but I'm really happy because I prayed for this. So, like, I'm just saying, stand on God's promises.
Yes.
That's all you have to do, and it'll happen. Yeah.
So, in that same token, to bring it full surface, some of you may have lost something, and you feel like there's no hope. There's just no life after this. We are a living testament. This is a testimony. There is life, even after death. There is hope after death. His name is Jesus. He's better than anyone. You can go to him. You can fuss. You can cry. You can pour your heart out to him. And he's always there. And he's so kind and so compassionate. And his ways are higher than our ways. We don't know the reasons that we lost to, but we're so thankful that we have this one. He is truly our bundle of joy. He just have me wrapped around these little tiny fingers. I mean, we love him, and we take him to church. We pray with him, pray over him. We dedicate him to the Lord. And it just goes to show you that God is with you even through your darkest time. And sometimes, even carrying the promise, you still have to go through it. Look at my daughter. She went through a lot to even bring this little bundle of joy into the world.
Yeah.
But after she had him, it all just went away, and it's all she could do was thank God for him. I mean, we're celebrating Christmas right now. Mary had a promise that she was bringing the Savior into this world, but it was not without a price. She was shunned by the world because of how could she do this, when she didn't know a man, but God had a promise. So even though you have a promise from the Lord, you may have to go through something before the promise is here. But if you grow through it and go through it, God will bring his promise to fruition, because that's one thing. He is not like man where he shall lie. If he said it, you can bank it and trust it that he's going to bring it through. So I hope that this video encouraged everyone around that don't give up. If God gave you a promise, just know that he's going to bring it to pass. It may not be like how you want it, but it's going to be better. It's going to be the exact way that God planned it to be. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and we'll see you back next week for another Our Happy Place Motivational Monday. Bye, guys.
I'm so used to, because I used to do that in my videos.